I might get started just as we have people trickle in here, um, uh, and and start with a little bit of a network update and run through that. The network update certainly is one which is a little bit of a mixed bag, to be honest with you. If we look at it just from a marketplace perspective, both from a normal residential real estate marketplace to the distressed market, there's lots of different things that I can give you guys some information on today because of just our different exposures within each of the marketplaces. There's no doubt that there's been a general slowdown from everybody, to be honest with you. But that said, I will say this is that some regions have slowed down more than others. I think that it's fair enough to say that the Southern California marketplace has certainly slowed down the most from a volume of transaction perspective. There's certainly still price ranges that are seeing definite moving. I will say this though, guys, is that the luxury price points are actually seeing a little bit as an easier marketplace to see a deal go into escrow because of the interest rates don't ultimately affect them as much. But that said, is that the lower end stuff is certainly taking a little bit more time. But I think that the other thing that is actually coming into play at the moment, and it's part of what I'm going to take you through the tools and resources and our focus as a network on processing inventory is going to be our next step. But what we're seeing is that we're not seeing certainly a little bit of a spike in inventory, but we're not seeing the flood of inventory in Southern California that I thought we might have. That lag time between buyers actually saying, no, I'm going to wait, to actually them actually taking action regardless of what the interest rates are, is certainly seeming to be a little bit more prolonged than normal. But I will say this is that from a report from the weekend, the volume of people through open houses certainly was an uptick across the board for everybody. It was a noticeable difference. I sort of took inventory of about 15 to 20 open houses at all different types of price points, and we saw a much larger volume of inventory across the board. When it comes to the market in all of it. Now, I will say this, the Northwest continues to, certainly push forward with most of our offices up there still doing really well. I will say that the days on market are just increasing a little bit, not dramatically, just from the results that we've seen over the last couple of months and with the inventory that's coming on here. But that said, is that California certainly seems to be the slowest part of the business. But also Nevada, I was speaking to a couple of guys in Reno, they have seen a dramatic slowdown. So it's certainly not price point, it seems to be more locational based, and that's just something to keep on top of. But obviously with the message with the team and the message with your agents, from a frustration perspective, because it's not as easy now as what it was, getting that prospecting hat back on and making sure that they have a focus around the listing side of the business, but also having a focus on the processing side of the business. Now, guys, obviously, one of our key elements in a changing marketplace is always talking to people about auction. It is one of the key things that we haven't seen. I was talking to Kevin about this the other day in his interviews that he's doing on a daily basis. We haven't seen the level of panic from agents that we saw probably in the first degree of COVID when the marketplace absolutely hit the brakes. So there's not that element of panic yet. Okay, so it's interesting to understand, guys, where people are at from a recruitment perspective, because if those other agencies are seeing that panic, or they're seeing a lack of panic, or whatever it may be, is that means our agents are seeing that as well. So, or they're feeling that, I should say. So I think that it's always conscious to keep our finger on the pulse from a recruitment perspective, because that same attitude that those people are bringing to that recruitment meeting, or the same reason they're speaking to us, is the same feeling that our people have as well. Just being attentive to that. Re-recruiting our people from an ongoing perspective is something that we're trying to do on your behalf at corporate. For example, Daniel had a Are You Using All the Tools and Resources session the other day, last week. It is recorded on the hub. I'm doing seller report training. I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. I did that the other week, and more resources around the processing of inventory are coming out. I did also seller education training the other week, and we've got an onslaught of training that is coming up that it's more practical based. But we are going to continue to put at the forefront of the company, obviously, tools and resources available to actually process people's inventory, handle the expectations of sellers looking at properties that have closed only just recently, but might have been in longer escrow periods, because the marketplace is certainly different. Guys, the other thing that we are definitely going to be doing as we move into the third quarter, or we're in the third quarter of the year, is that we definitely want to take a focus within the third and fourth quarter of this year is also around profitability of our real estate business. I just got off a productive phone call with the Beverly Hills team around their budgets and making sure they're making some changes proactively proactively, and really making sure we look at every single individual line item to make sure that is it completely necessary as we move into that marketplace. We're going to be bringing that into the business plans that we have on a monthly basis, both Josh and I, to ensure that everybody's prepared and prepped. And if anything, it's streamlining the business to have a little bit more profitability if things aren't going on the downward slope. So, that said, that's a general market update from a residential resale perspective. With my ties into the distress market, guys, no one is foreclosing on really anybody unless they are sending the keys back in at this point. Nobody's venturing into it. The banks are certainly feeling the pinch. I actually went to a conference the other week and met with a few very, very big loan services. They were having it here. Funnily enough, it was right here at the St. Regis, about a 3-minute drive away from our corporate office. Sat down with a couple of very, very large lending services and spoke to them about their book of business. Their book of business, they are not seeing any difference within an uptick of default from a payment perspective, the forbearance side of things. People can certainly claim hardship still through the COVID side of things, and it's making it difficult for people to foreclose, but the banks have really zero intention at this point in time, even with the refinancing business. They are certainly laying off people left and right. There's no question that they are bringing their budgets well down from a perspective of staff, because they are a concertina type business, as we all know. Market's good, they put more people on. Market subtracts, obviously they are laying off quite a volume. But it doesn't mean that from the business that they already have that they are after that business to foreclose on it. I'll be honest, is that we spoke to the third largest servicer in the country, and he's like, yeah, we don't really have any intention on foreclosing or trying to take or really go down that legal path for another 6, maybe even 12 months. So that flood of inventory that we may expect from a foreclosure perspective might not be coming as soon as what we all thought it would, because that certainly would pad the market from an inventory perspective and really decrease the demand. But again, it just wasn't something that was discussed. Now, they might not be discussing it. Could be something that happens dramatically quickly. But that said, the third largest servicer in the country, not really overly concerned with their book of business and foreclosing. They're just taking the easy wins where people are leaving the property in their own prospective rights. Okay, that's the only sort of distressed stuff that you're seeing enter the marketplace at this point in time. So, guys, a little bit of an update. Hopefully that provides you with some useful information. There's not a lot that I can provide you with, but certainly the second quarter for Harcourts North America definitely wasn't as strong as the previous second quarter. But that said, that is to be expected with the deal count down as much as ultimately it is. The rough amount per marketplace of the deal count being down is probably about 15% year on year at this point, with inventory obviously increasing and average days on marketplace increasing as well. That's probably the averages that I can give you. But now, moving into some a little bit more uplifting stuff, guys. A little bit of expansion within our network. Okay, we've got 2 official launches. I'm going to talk about a few of the others as well. But first of all, I know we welcomed Tara to our call. Excuse me, there we go, click through. Hopefully you can see that now. South Carolina, we are official in the Carolinas. Harcourts Carolinas is existing. Tara McCloskey, she is the business owner along with Chad Whitfeld and Justin Green. Did I get that right? I didn't get that right? Really? Still, McCloskey. Hang on, let me unmute you. I'm going to unmute you. Hang on. I need to get this right once and for all. Jeez.
Morowski, mate.
Morowski.
Morowski.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. Is it not? Jason didn't even get it right? Okay, hang on. Wait. We're gonna nail this. 1 second.
I know I got it right, Tara. It's good. I know. I don't need his validation.
Hang on. Well, how do I unmute? Jeez. There we go. Tara, you can unmute yourself and get it right for us all, please.
Mo.
Yes.
Raw.
Morowski. Didn't I say that?
Mo. You said Morowski. You said.
I said Morowski. I just say it really quickly.
Morowski. It couldn't be more phonetically easy to say.
Yeah.
You're
I
gonna
did.
get it right one of these
I tried to say Michaela phonetically the other day, and I got it really bad at the awards as well. Again, folks, we are not employing any people that aren't named Jane and John Smith, okay? That is the only thing from an awards perspective. I'm sorry, okay? But welcome to the team. You've been a part of the Harcourts family for a very long time already. We did some great shoots with you. You came over, obviously, to Southern California, back to Southern California, because you left here to go over there, and we did some great filming the other day, and we couldn't be more excited. Guys, if you are not following Tara on social media, you need to be. okay, from a perspective of the stuff and the content that she is putting out. Now, regardless of whether it's obviously just for the entertainment purposes, I really enjoy it, but also getting to know South Carolina as well, more specifically Columbia is where she is in South Carolina. Beautiful location, but also some of the properties. It actually makes you very depressed if you live in Southern California, the prices on these properties and what you can actually get. The other part of it as well is the content that Tara is putting out and the effort that she is going to push the Harcourts brand within that marketplace. It is actually very inspiring for your agents to follow along, or if you need some ideas from a social media perspective. You're doing a wonderful job so far, Tara, and thank you for all the effort that you're putting in. We're thrilled for you to be a business owner within our network now, as you are such a great part of it already as a salesperson. So again, I couldn't be more thrilled. So thank you for everything you're doing. Okay, and guys, another excuse to go over to the East Coast. You've already got Charlene to go to Maine. Now we can go to South Carolina. From a Harcourts perspective, we're working on all the states so that we've all got excuses as well. But that said, on the screen as well, you'll see here a divide and conquer tile. You might have seen that on some of our social media announcements as well. But Harcourts Elite was just the Silverton office at one point. Now we have Nick Ahan, who was a business owner there, Valerie and Karina, who are the business partners there as well, in that office. The three of them took it over from Connie Hinsdale, who you might know was a business owner for a little while there with Harcourts Northwest Oregon Realty Group was the name of it. They changed the name to Harcourts Elite. Now for an expansion plan to move into the Salem market, Nick has taken the Harcourts Elite brand and moved in and opened up another office for us within the Northwest, within Oregon, within Salem. Quite a large marketplace that we certainly know that with that type of marketplace that is there and with the way that Nick runs the business will certainly be a dominant force locally, and we're really excited about that expansion plan. But Valerie and Karina are now the business owners of Harcourts Silverton, that local brand that has had the dominance within the Silverton marketplace for quite a long while, and certainly their leadership within that business, not only from a perspective of their new form partnership that will take over the Silverton office and continue that legacy that is already there, but also what has already been in the past has certainly created definite buzz within the community, certainly for the agents, and definitely doing some great stuff locally. It just goes to show that the Harcourts brand expanding within the Oregon marketplace certainly definitely puts the strength in that brand with a few actual acquisitions of other companies that have been in Oregon at this point. I believe Hassan was one of them through Sotheby's, has got a lot of agents looking at other alternatives, and certainly this is one thing that we can offer them is further expansion within the Oregon marketplace. A big congratulations to Nick, a big congratulations to Valerie and Karina. We just know that that partnership is going to go from strength to strength in that local marketplace in that sector of Oregon, with great presence in the Salem market and great presence in the Silverton market as well. So again, guys, some really great news from an expansion front for us. The one other thing that I just want to make mention of as well, on the call today, we have Lana Wu. Lana, give us all a wave so that we all know, there you are. Josh and I just got back from Canada recently, where we've in discussions with Lana about finalising our agreement for Lana to take on the British Columbia presence for Harcourts. We had Greg and Theo that were Harcourts North Vancouver. They've chosen to move on to a different venture. Lana was one of the top performing salespeople, not only within Harcourts, but locally within the Surrey marketplace and certainly within Vancouver in general. And we couldn't be more thrilled with not only her track record, but also already being part of the Harcourts Blue family, that she's taken on the baton and wants to run with the Harcourts brand with inside British Columbia. We're absolutely thrilled, Lana, to spend the last few days with you. I think that Josh and I expressed several times how excited we were to have not only somebody that certainly has a proven track record as good as yours and a reputation as good as yours, but also to keep all that blue on the map within Canada. So again, we are thrilled and we're excited for the future, and looking forward to doing the official launch and PR that'll come out about that here in the next couple of weeks. A few little things to just button up, but again, we're really excited. Thanks for joining the call today. Excellent. So guys, if you need South Carolina, if you need Salem, Silverton, up there in Canada, British Columbia, Vancouver. You know, we've got all the people there that if you've got any referrals that ultimately need to be sent through, they're the people to do so, or just get in contact with Josh or I and we can put you in touch. But again, great to see some expansion. We are also speaking to several other people about opening locations as well, guys. It's actually great to see as people come into a marketplace that they see changing, they see us as an opportunity for them to grow a brand within that marketplace because of how well we grow when it comes down to a market being a little bit more difficult. I think that that's where we are going to grow the most. And Kevin's actually said to me, we get to put our business theory into play that we've been preaching over the last number of years is in a tougher marketplace, we grow more. So now we need to put our nose down to the grindstone and make sure that that is the case. So either way, I think that the corporate team, as they smile at me going, aren't we already grinding? But anyway, guys, I'm going to keep going and just keep with the updates. Quarterly awards update. A big thank you to Tony and Courtney for hosting up there in Redondo Beach. I think that we've received incredible feedback from that event itself at the Shade Hotel down there in Redondo Beach. It was a great experience. Outside of the fact that the Monarch Beach team, their contingent, they actually went to the Shade Hotel in, I believe it was Manhattan Beach. But either way, they managed to get there on time eventually, but that's all right. Under the pure guidance of Mr. Chad Whitfeld, I will say. But that said, guys, it was a great event. We would have had about probably 60, 70 people in attendance. Tony and Courtney, and also a big special mention to Wendy, who was the office manager there. She did a great job organising the event and helping us make sure that it was a great event itself. We had a great deal of people, obviously, with watch parties on. A big mention to the Ben team for having their watch party. I believe Silverton had one. We had also Jen Maben and her team at Real Estate Network Group had a pool party. The Eugene team were chiming in as well, and a few individuals that were there. I know, but that said is that I believe that Sevi was on the camera, so if you got any of the audience shots there and they might have been a little bit wobbly, that's Sevi's fault. But that said, we try and make it as immersive as possible. The award winners, Shelley Griffin taking out the #1 spot, the Green Group, and then also Jennifer Maben, #3 within the network for the top 20. It was great to see a few new faces within the top 20 as well, going to show that we are bringing some really good talent into the company. Now, our quarterly awards, guys, our next one is going to be hosted. In San Diego with the lucky ones that drew out of the hat. Now, Ashley, is the backbone from an operational perspective for the San Diego team. So, Ashley, I know that it's going to come a little bit more on you in order to organise that party. But I have to be honest, if it was Maddox, Drew, or Jesse figuring it all out, we wouldn't have as much faith that it's going to be a good time. But I'm looking forward to it. If you need any help, let us know. But, guys, we're going to be circulating that around. That'll be the last one to end out the year. That said is that we're looking forward to it being in San Diego. We haven't had an awards in San Diego since we were hosting them in San Diego within Carlsbad. So again, I think that the new format's going really well for us. I think that we're seeing definitely positive feedback from a lot of people, and certainly with the jumping around and people being able to attend, guys really want to actually eventually get to the point where there's people traveling to come to the quarterly awards so that they can be a part of it. I love how inclusive it is, making sure that we're bringing down the silos and making sure it is a North American family rather than just the individual areas of which we're having the awards. Okay, so guys, as I move through, we've done the quarterly update. I just want to hand it over to Jace to do a quick update on auction. As auction becomes more prevalent within the marketplace, guys, I think that it's important that, Jace keeps us up to speed with how things are going from an auction front, from a statistical perspective. More and more people are starting to use it, not only from a perspective of auctions where properties are sitting on the market longer, but from conversations with sellers for prospecting, but also conversations with recruits. It has their ears pricked up again because they know that it's not going to be as easy. We need to be more articulate with the way that we're explaining auction, or throwing them Jason or the auction team's way, or Josh or my way, to have that conversation. Jace, I'll hand it to you, mate.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Good to see you all. For those that weren't there at the quarterlies just a couple of weeks ago, I am only employed with Ben purely because of my name. It's one of the very few that he can pronounce both first and last, which is it's comforting for me.
Not talent, no talent at all.
You don't need to tell them that. So obviously, guys, auctions become a much bigger segment of the market, much bigger segment of our network as well over the last probably 3 months or so. Market sort of adjusted since March, but certainly the last 3 months. Our last event last week was the most busy as far as activity that we have had this year. There's no doubt about that. We had bidding across all properties. We had multiple properties that had sold prior, but really we had a lot of people that were kind of holding on. What we're seeing though is that there are larger gaps between where negotiations are sort of starting to where they're needing to end up. And to Ben's point, the moving market right now for us is that more luxury price point. So, or that higher price point, no matter what sort of market you're in. So your local market, that higher end is moving a lot more. So we've sold and in negotiations now far more so in that type of marketplace versus say the first home buyer market right now, which of course has been probably the most affected with regards to interest rate heights and some of these other things, though that's improved a little bit of late. So to give you guys a bit of a reference point to how things are going at the moment, we have about $31 million worth of property in escrow right now, which is really, really strong over the last month or so through the month of July. So that's certainly picked up a little bit for us, which is certainly very, very strong. We are seeing a lot of interest coming directly to the Harcourts Auctions website, guys. These are sellers that are looking to potentially sell, and these are other agents as well with some inquisition out there as far as the process. So all I would say obviously is to your team and to your network, just make sure that they're obviously aware of all the latest things with auctions so that they can speak to it. We've had a couple of situations where agents have not really mentioned auction and then they've actually gone with other auction agents, whether they are within the Harcourts network or in fact some inferior replicants of the auction process, shall we say, out there trying to do their best. So just be aware of that, guys, is that the process as a whole, not only within our company, but just as a whole, is getting a lot more attraction. It's getting a lot more interest and a lot more engagement from the public out there. So obviously just bear that in mind. With that, obviously there has been a lot of news as far as what the market is doing. So sellers are really, really educated to what the market is doing and the fact that it has softened. So it's allowing for us to have really, really engaging conversations with sellers. We're not hiding behind anything. They're already really well aware of things. And so it's really allowing us insurance policy to bring them interest, bring them offers. And it's really positive to see the type of negotiations the sellers are having right now. If there's motivation behind the transaction, they are selling, they are negotiating, they are coming to the table. It's not just not selling or holding out for a price. They really are coming down to the price points. It's just taking a little bit more to get them there. And so we need to sort of show them a lot more interest. Average bidders across properties at the moment, guys, is hovering around 7 bidders. So you can see that there's still a lot of interest in properties. To tail off Ben's comment earlier, open houses have remained pretty strong. But when you have 20 people through an open house a few months ago, you'd expect 5-10 offers maybe on a property. Now 20 people are not indicative of any offers whatsoever. So auctions really allowing people to engage at price points that they might feel more comfortable in order for us to get leverage when it comes to multiple offer negotiations, or at least getting them registered to bid, showing the seller the outcome, so on and so forth. We've also had a lot of agents that have been getting calls from local auction campaigns with neighbours, also looking to sell. We had Donna Thibodeau sold a property in Sombra Valley Drive about 2 months ago. The next door neighbour failed to sell their property traditionally while it was tenanted. It's in LA County, which has had some big troubles with tenancies and getting people out of tenanted properties. They managed to do that. They now want to sell again, and they've come to us to say, hey, look, you sold this other property. Can you help us sell our property through the same process? We're getting a lot of that. Tara, who we spoke yesterday, we've also got another gentleman there that reached out to us in Carolina, South Carolina, wants to sell using the auction process, purchasing elsewhere, moving out of town, and so we're hoping to help them out there as well, guys. So I think as well, we just need to make sure that this is top of mind further than just the market adjustment, but the market coming to us. We're seeing a lot of that at the moment, and the results are still reasonably robust.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Jace, that sort of close out on is that, first of all, thanks for the update, mate. But the other thing also is like I've given you 4 leads within the last 3 days of inbound seller inquiry to the company about, hey, this auction thing interested, 2 of which were like, no, I'm selling my home using auction. So can someone call me, please? So, guys, I think that if there's any type of indication of that we probably need to start looking locally, it's maybe some social media marketing, maybe some flyer marketing, maybe whatever it may be around, hey, don't reduce your price, change your strategy. Don't reduce your price, change your strategy. okay, that could be certainly a key indicator. We'll come out with some stuff also from a corporate perspective that you might be able to put on your social media, but having that level of inbound, like I haven't given Jason a seller lead outside of maybe just a few here or there internally to the network from an auction perspective for, I don't know, Jason, it's probably been... could be 18 months, mate. Who knows? But again, just that other opportunity that we have for diversity of bringing more different stuff in from a listing perspective. Now, speaking of which, another tool that I want to discuss quickly update you guys on and show. Some of you may or may not have been on the training that I did the other day about seller reports. This is an important one. The reason I wanted to bring it up with you guys, because you are the leaders of the business. We need to either be leading by example, or we need to be ultimately showing agents where this all is. Certainly Daniel has been adding these into his onboarding process for new agents that are coming on. Daniel can also help anybody that needs any type of help with putting these seller reports together. I'm going to quickly just, as I shared my screen, I'm going to show you guys quickly where these are located from a seller's report template. These have been designed specifically from myself and the reports that I've used, whether it be through auction or whether it be traditional. These reports are done in a particular way from a characteristic or from a psychological perspective with agents, okay, with sellers or with people in general from a top-down approach. They focus on the large numbers of where the inquiry is coming from, all the way down to the phone calls, all the way down to the showings, all the way down to individual feedback, all the way down to price feedback. So guys, on the hub where the resource is, we've done it, we've made it available to people. First of all, if you go to the library section of the hub, so if I go library and just simply type in seller, okay, into the search category, what you'll find here is that not only this is the training that I did the other day that people can download. I take everybody through the reports. I show them the reports. I give them the understanding of the psychology behind it. I give them an understanding of how you actually present it to a seller, because that is one of the ways as well. But if you were to click just simply on the download button here, it'll download these editable reports within PowerPoint that are the template and the basis that an agent can use. Now, this here is, I didn't realize that PowerPoint was as good as what it ultimately was from an editable perspective for people to then use and print as a PDF. This is all editable. They can go through, put the website traffic, the open house traffic, the phone inquiries, the second showings, all the way through to the individual feedback of an individual person, okay, the consistent comments of the property. And then this is also part of it that we've made sure of, is that this was the most effective part for me when selling real estate, is the visual element of it. The visual element of what the seller's expectations are versus what the marketplace expectations are from a price perspective, summary of offers and summary of buyer feedback. These are some of the more useful tools that we're bringing out. There's multiple different templates. There's this Harcourts template. There's a luxury property selection template as well. But if I was to go back here, I've also, there's the template that if they're not so flexible with technology, if you go to the vault, so I'll go back, you go to the marketing section, you click on Harcourts Studio, okay? In the studio section here, you'll see property reports as its own individual section now. These are individual templates that you can have done up, okay? And they are a little less editable, but they're much easier from a perspective of if you were to click edit, okay, it brings you through. It automatically brands them straight away, so they don't have to import photos in, they don't have to change the details, everything along those lines. So if I was to view the back side of this, it's already got my name and phone number and everything in there. However, I still can go through and I can edit it. I can add that portion of it in. They're just a little bit more simple to use than the PowerPoint. So obviously we're taking the time to do multiple different versions at the hope that people can actually use them, edit them, change them, make it easier for them to use, because guys, I just need you to understand is that you are 40% less likely to sell a property if you are not doing weekly reports. That is the statistic that I will stick to based on CoreLogic, which is the real estate data firm, okay? You are 40% less likely to sell a property if you are not doing weekly reports, okay? And that was done throughout the entirety of the United States, and it is something that certainly that I would be talking to our agents about consistently. I make it implicitly clear in the training that we are doing that this needs to be a priority when it comes to a changing and evolving marketplace, that we are using those resources that are available to us. And part of that is the weekly communication from that perspective. So guys, the training is recorded there. The templates are available. I am more than happy to do a session individually for your offices, okay, in order to get that going. If you want me to do a seller report, a training for your office individually, more than happy to do it because of how important I believe it ultimately is. Okay, now coming through, Hub equals Vault. That's correct, mate. Thank you. Okay. Still call it the Hub. So, guys, the next part. Josh, I'm going to put you on unmute, and I don't think I've already done that, but I'm going to get you to give everybody a bit of an update of what is coming up, mate, because you are going to be at one. There we go.
There we go. All right, guys. Hello to everyone there. Obviously, Ben touched on the quarterlies coming up, but that is going to be that last Thursday in October. We don't have the new just yet. One is in the works. The first one that was thrown up was an idea of a boat from Jesse. Now, I had to remind him that there's no Wi-Fi on boats and nowhere to plug in for an Ethernet cord. So again, we're still looking at a couple other venues, but we should have that locked in next week. Save the dates and invitations will go out on that shortly. Next one, obviously, the Business Owners Holiday Party. That is, again, same place, Solani's Steak Tavern here in Laguna Beach. It is going to be Thursday, the 8th of December. Dinner will start from 5 p.m. We are looking at doing a couple of things prior to that. So, again, more details will come on that, but it is going to be Thursday, the 8th of December. Social Club coming up in a month, the 16th to the 18th of September, with a happy hour being on the 16th, then the Oregon Ducks versus Boston University game being on the Saturday. It's 12:30 will be the kickoff of the game. Prior to that will be a tailgate party starting at probably about 9 a.m. A tailgate party, and then post the game as well will be a tailgate party put on by Harcourts West. There will be hosting a lot of that. Now, we're up to about 30 people. The tickets will all be finalised Wednesday, Thursday next week. So if again, you guys do want to come, or there's a few people in the office still thinking about it, please let me know. It is $200. That does include your ticket, food and alcohol on Saturday at the tailgate, plus the happy hour at the Top Golf Suite there on the Friday evening at the Graduate Hotel. And then next event we got coming up is a conference. So again, as the 27th and 28th of February, that's coming up. Invitations are going out in the next couple of weeks. And then the top 30 for that, it will be the same format as last year with the top 30. That'll be finalised at the end of September. So early October we'll have those lists, and that'll be sent out to you guys to know who from the team has been invited. Last but not least, the International Awards, an international conference. That's going to be in Australia, May 30th and 31st next year. Ben and I are going to take a little bit of a tour group over there. I know a lot of people have reached out to me wanting to get on board with that and excited to go to Australia and see the awards. And if you are up for an award, receive your award in person. So we are finalising details on that. We are looking at a package that will be released most likely next week. It's going to include a couple of office tours down there, some big offices, not just within Harcourts, but a couple other networks as well, so we can see a vast array of how it works down there. It will include 3 nights accommodation at the Star Hotel, is where the Australian conference will be on the Gold Coast. The nearest airport is Brisbane International for the direct flights from Los Angeles, and it will include a couple of dinners and a few other little bus trips and all that sort of stuff. Now, we will also include a few suggested itineraries. I know most of you won't just go down for 3 or 4 nights. We want to spend a couple of weeks there, make a family holiday of it. So again, we will have a few suggested itineraries. I know a couple of you have reached out to each other, seeing if you're going and looking at doing potentially doing a few trips with each other. So again, that'll come out late next week. I know a few of you have already expressed your interest in it. So if you do have interest, please let us know. Cost for that's going to be approximately $2,500, excluding flights for that. But again, we will have that finalised late next week. That's it from an update, Ben.
Perfect, mate. Thank you for that. Obviously, a fair bit to digest when it comes to events that are coming up. But guys, the quarterly awards in San Diego, we've got the holiday Christmas party, the social club, we've got obviously Hype next year, and then Harcourts International Conference within Australia as well. All of that stuff is pretty exciting to continue the connection with the group. Connection is obviously one of our core core competencies when it comes to the network and also culture. So folks, rounding out the business owners meeting, I've got 2 other items of the agenda. The first one that I'll go through in the last 2 are business plans. So we've got a new format for business planning. We do business planning with 99% of the offices once a month. The new format is going to be obviously going through. You've got Kelly, Daniel, Jason, and Josh on the business plan format. On there, we've got specifics that we are going to continue to go through. First of all is obviously in the similar format of going through the numbers for each individual agent and talking about what we're predicting them to do in order to actually make sure to see whether they're on track or off track. However, Daniel's going to obviously do a report of the onboardings that are happening for your office at that time. And if you are part of the recruitment program, then that is also going to be an update there from him also. So we've gotten tremendous feedback about Daniel's onboarding, guys. Hopefully, Dan, put me on mute so you don't get a big ego, okay? But ultimately is that we've gotten incredible feedback, not only from you guys as business owners, but also from the agents themselves, having that individual resource for them to communicate with the entirety of their transition, but then also for those inexperienced agents to have Dan's training that he's doing with them every step of the way, so that there's that guidance, and so that they're not as bigger time vampires. I say as bigger time vampires to those that are running the offices like yourself, because most of our business owners are the producers within that office, and we need to keep you focused on that whilst we build the team certainly around you. So again, that's still going really well. So he'll be doing an update on the onboarding and also the recruitment element. Jace will give an update on auctions within the office as well. We need to make sure that that's kept priority. It's a level of accountability for him, and it's also a level of accountability for the process to make sure it's at the forefront of the office. Then also, you've obviously got Josh and myself, but Kelly will be on there from a financial reporting perspective to make sure that if there's anything that is not 100% accurate, then we can certainly make sure that we go through that so we catch it on a monthly basis versus anything else. But guys, we are going to also get an engagement of the technology, how many people in your office are engaging in the technology and in the services of Harcourts as well, so that we understand, because the less engaged they are, the more of a flight risk they are. So we're just bringing a little bit more structure. I think the business planning element has been a great addition in order for us to connect with the businesses. We just want a little bit more structure to make sure that we are getting every element of the business into your business to make it as successful as possible. So that'll be starting. It started a few already, but as of September, we'll be in full swing. Now, the other thing that the team's going to be going through and doing is they're going to be calling through and doing a vault audit. So this will be something that Josh and Emily and the remainder of the team, Sevi will be making some phone calls as well through to the actual existing team from an audit perspective, making sure that their information is all up to date so that we don't have any miscommunication. This is important also from an ongoing perspective to make sure we have the best email address for them for communication, best cell phone for them. So from a text message perspective, that we can obviously notify them anytime that there's an event or anytime that we do have training on or anytime that there's another value offering that they might be able to use. So that'll be happening also over the next 2 months. It is a big job, but just be conscious of that as well. We're going to be going through and cleaning up the rosters. Some of you keep a pretty tight ship, but others we just need to make sure that we don't have any false readings or false numbers, and that's just part of just housekeeping as well. Now, finally, the next business owners meeting is October 13, guys. October 13, same time, it'll be 12 o'clock. I know that this hasn't been as insightful as some of them with all these product launches and all of that type of stuff, but it's really important from a connections perspective that we keep up our business owners meeting. We do obviously speak to everybody relatively consistently from a business plan perspective, that we obviously go through a lot of this stuff from a monthly basis with you, but that said is that it's still important for us to all to join. I do believe that we're not going to do August next year because the volume of people that are away at the moment is unbelievable from a travel perspective. I think we literally have 50% of the business owners currently traveling. So either way, we're going to avoid August, we might just do October maybe next year. But that said, I would have expected from being here almost 9 years that I would have learnt that there are certain seasons within, the holiday market, so to speak. But I think that this is the first post-COVID summer where everyone's been able to travel. And I think that there's 25% of our business owners that are going to Europe within summer. So either way is that it's good to see everybody out there enjoying the hard work over the last number of years, but ready to get back into it and put the nose to the grindstone and push through what is, I believe, going to be an opportunity market that's going to push us through for the remainder of the year, an opportunity market that 2023 is certainly going to provide, because we all know how to do business in a marketplace that isn't as fast moving as what it possibly was previously. I do believe that COVID has put a new standard on our sellers' expectations for properties to move quickly, and I think that we are the ones that are going to expose the other agents and they are all on their heels and not on their toes in order to leap forward in that marketplace and offer them the solutions that we need to in order to get their property sold in a timely manner for the highest price possible, because that's the way that we are certainly going to be gearing all of our training and all of our resources that are released within the next 18 months will certainly be geared around that, so that we can take the best opportunity, and also all of it geared around the recruitment element with our onboarding role with Dan, and also the recruitment services is helping you guys with the recruitment presentations and pushing for offices, so that therefore this is our best chance to push hard and to grow as quickly as we possibly can while others are dissolving. And I mean dissolving at a rapid rate with multiple other companies that we all know who they are, that are certainly not doing very well at the moment in a real estate market. But again, guys, thank you so much for everything you do out there. We are here for you if you need anything at all. It's always good to see you guys with your cameras on and jumping on. But outside of that, we're here if you need anything, and we look forward to seeing you or talking to you very shortly. Thanks, everyone.